Hey, welcome back to Project Mockingbird. My name is John. It's about 85 degrees and about 80% humidity here today, and it is a hot one. But we're going to get into today, though, while we're going to be out here getting ready to do some body work, one of the last final very, very, very important steps to me to really bring the car next level is mocking up every single panel. The trunk, the doors, the fenders, the hood, lower valance, everything. Even sometimes the bumpers are not a bad idea to mock up just to make sure everything fits. Because last thing you want to do is get all the pretty shiny paint on this thing and kind of find out the door doesn't even fit, or the trunk deck don't line up worth a crap, body gaps are horrible, etc. So this is why it is very vital, in my opinion, to go ahead and just bolt the entire thing back together, inspect everything, and modify as needed. Let me show you a few things here right quick. Now, if you look at that door, the gap looks pretty decent, lining up all right. But let's check out this door here. Now, if you look at when it's shut, you'll see the top edge is actually sticking out quite a ways, and it starts to line up here towards the bottom. Well, simple, right, John? You just adjust the hinge in the front. You push the hinge in the top, and then line it back here. But then guess what happened to the front fender, to the door? It would no longer line up, so that's a problem. Doors are pretty simple. You take this door here, little rubber block, this whole 3M, I guess you could say, hard as a brick sanding block now. Shove here in the door jamb, like so. Kind of wedge it, and literally just put your body weight into it. Give it a couple little shoves, and you'll be surprised how much this door will actually twist. Now look at that there. So much better. That lines up real nice all the way down. That's how simple it is, but that was one of the ones you could probably do after it was painted. But look at this up here in the front. I was working on installing the lower valance for the same idea, for test fitting purposes, and look at that gap. Those bolts are pulled down tight all the way. They're a little twisted and bent, but imagine if you had this painted and you try to hammer or twist or bang that around to close up that gap. This is one of the reasons why mocking up is very, very important, because right now it's a really simple fix. Like I said, these bolts here are both run down as tight as they'll go, and it's clearly not closing up that gap. What's actually happening in this car, as you can see, this is the little piece that goes in here. It's damaged. It was hit. It was bent. I hammered and dollied this thing back out and got it straight. It looked good, but as you can tell, doesn't quite line up with the fender. For the most part, pair of vice grips. Go ahead and just clamp it and work your way all the way down that whole seam, and you'll be surprised how much it just kind of reshapes now. Look at that. Already squeezed the ones here on the top. Close that gap right up. Now the vice grips are off, and it's getting a whole lot better. Just keep working the whole thing. Now I'm going to have to work the radius here just a little bit, so I have to hammer it, but if it wasn't bent, it would be a pretty quick little dealy over here. But you can tell. Look at that. Closing up my gap. Again, this is why you do this before it's painted. After paint, there's a good chance it's going to flex the metal, and you'll crack your pretty paint job. And then you see how much time I'm going to have invested in this, probably maybe 2 or 3 minutes at the most. But it's going to make a heck of a difference in the final product. I can't tell how many times I look at a car and you look at this gap and it's huge, or the panels aren't even lined up. This is proof that it wasn't mocked up prior to. This is one of those things that I think super vital, and so I thought it was worth sharing it with you. There we go. Pull that up there. Pull this down to match. This fender looks a little bent, so I'm going to bend the front edge of that fender to match the valance. So we'll go ahead and snug this up. This lines up pretty good now here. The part we're kind of combating now is this corner of the fender doesn't line up with the valance. So if you look here, this fender is a little buckled and wavy through here. So I'm going to try to grip this front edge and just pull it down. And I'm using a little plastic spreader to keep from marring up the metal too bad. But the rest of it's lining up pretty good now. But we'll hang on this here just to give a little twist and see if we can't pull that out and get these 2 points to line up. Okay. And I managed to dent the fender a little bit, but it did move. Close this back up, see if we can't pull that together. man, that's a whole lot better than it was. Now I gotta work the dent there that I created, but that's a whole heck of a lot better than it was. All right, now we'll just hammer and dolly that little dinkus that I caused. One last little pull here. So much better. Okay, now look at this up close now. That is a whole lot more realistic and better. And you can tell I only have just a few moments in straightening that back out. Okay. Knowing this had some collision damage, I worked it out. It looks a little strange through here. Now, I wish I had a new one of these inserts to try in there because this top corner is missing and this edge is a little distorted. But the same idea, you should probably go ahead and test fit all these components in the car to make sure what they're going to look like. The inside edge isn't looking too bad. Around the bottom isn't too bad. This side looks bad, but is it because of the plastic filler or this here? But either way, this is the reason we test everything. Now, I know these hood inserts, they are going to fit like crap. They're going to need modified. That's one of the things we'll probably get into undoing the body work. But they're not horrible, but they don't really fit 100%. That's why I like the fiberglass ones. I can file those down and make them fit a whole lot better. But we're going to wrap it up today because if you look out here, she's just about ready to storm, and I don't want this guy outside. And like I said, thanks for watching, helping support the channel. I hope these little tips make it worth your while, because imagine, you'll start seeing this stuff now. You go to car shows, watching TV shows about car builds, you'll start seeing some of those crazy gaps because they didn't spend, you see it, less than 5 minutes to knock that thing out. You probably won't have that exact damage. If you do, you know how to do it. But the idea is mock it up and determine what needs to be modified prior to paint to save yourself a whole lot of headaches and make a better finished product when you're done. But either way, I got to shut this thing down. That storm's about to hit. Appreciate you following me on the journey on the Mockingbird, and we'll catch you guys next time.